morning, nerds! I finally made it into Path of Fire, and it's kind of been a wild ride, and everybody was picking on me for taking so long. But I finally got to the part where everybody was really excited for me to find. No, not story. No, not different elite specializations because I waited for Weaver until Path of Fire. You guessed it, mounts. And here's what I think of them. So the big thing I loved so far about receiving the mounts is that they're part of story. So you get into Path of Fire and you're following Balthazar and you come across the Forged and then you realize that the Branded are still around because of Krakatorrik, and you find these people that are in need of help that just breed raptors. And later on for the Springer, you find people that have Springer, and it helps them with all of their daily farm duties and things like that. But I thought it was really cool that you come into a new area and you're looking to figure out how to traverse this terrain, and the answer is given to you. I also really love that each mount has its own ability to help with these certain parts of terrain. So for the Raptor, the gap closer, essentially. For the Springer, jumping up really high to get onto cliffs. And for the Skimmer, being able to go really fast just above water. And I know eventually with masteries, you could like dive underwater and things like that. And then with the Griffin, flight, obviously. And I think that's really cool for specifically Path of Fire, but I almost feel like it's a detriment to the game as well, because you don't necessarily need them in the core map or Heart of Thorns, because they were meant to be able to be traversed without them, or just using the glider and the masteries that you have in the game for those specific areas as well. Do I think it's a bad thing? No. But for me, because I prefer to be on foot to explore anyway, because I don't want to miss things, I sometimes forget that I have a mount to be able to find things faster, or want to challenge myself to see if I can get onto a cliff via like my own jump puzzle type route to see if I can get to a certain hero point, or just to see if I can get to a top of tree. So I think it's really good for Path of Fire, possibly not so good for core maps unless you want to see how beautiful things are from above and get to places a lot quicker. With that said, a couple of things that really impressed me, that all of the mounts have their own mastery. Now, I could go on about the mastery system for quite some time. I love that you get something new and it feels like even to your character it's new and you have to figure out how to handle it. For instance, the way that you move on the mounts is actually kind of tough for me. I am really bad at turning, and it feels very realistic in that way. And so I love the idea that you have masteries to almost have the mount bond more to you to work harder for you, if that makes sense. You can jump further, jump higher. You have an increased damage ability to dismount, and then eventually you get more abilities as it goes. And I just really, really like that idea. I think the only thing that I dislike just about masteries in general is that once you've unlocked them on one character, I believe they're account bound, so you don't have to do it again. I don't know if that pertains to every type of mastery, because I would like to re-level on every single character again for every single mastery because I love the leveling system so much. But I do think that that's really cool that you're just gaining this connection and you're learning better how to ride these mounts. And I do like that for the heart quest, you're also given treats for the mounts as well. So far in the story, I've only unlocked the Raptor and the Springer. However, because of Festival of the Four Winds, which is so much fun, by the way, and I'll be doing another video on that, I was able to rent a Skimmer as well as a Griffin. So I'll have some footage here. But the Skimmer, I think, was the most fun with maneuvering. I love being just above the water and being able to turn and strafe as quickly as you can. The Griffin was kind of odd. I know that it'll be better with masteries so that you can dive and get more speed and be able to turn in the air and do loops and all of these things. But for me, just for the base Griffin without having any extra mastery to it and not being able to dive except for the ability that it gives you to actually dive onto your prey and then dismount you. It felt more like a glider bird. Like I was using a glider as a bird. But obviously it'll get better. So all in all, I really like the mount system in Guild Wars 2. Again, I'm not so sure about having to level the masteries on other characters, which I would really like to do, or how pertinent the mounts are to other maps. I know people in the comments, if you do use your mounts like crazy, not the sky scale, the other ones, out in the core map, let me know. But for me, it's just I keep forgetting them and I just like walking anyway. So I like the idea of using the mounts when I have to, but I also like the idea of just strolling and finding things. So that's fun for me as well. I think the only other thing is that in other games, obviously you would farm like raids and dungeons and such to get other mounts. But that's because they have multiple mounts. They don't just have the couple of mounts, even though they mean a lot in Guild Wars 2 with skins. And I feel like there's more skins that you would get off of the gem store or through like chests for drops, like Black Lion chests and such, than you would actually get from drops in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong because I actually don't know. But it would be neat, even though you can convert gold to gems to buy skins off the gem store. It would be really cool if there were more skins actually in the game that you could get from different achievements or events or actual drops from bosses. That way you could do things like a mount off, like they have in World of Warcraft for showing like the most rare mount and things like that, rather than just who spent the most on their skin or who has the most skins that they've collected from the store. That's how I feel about them for right now. I think they're really cool. I think they're a lot of fun, but I'm also glad I waited. And I'm excited to see what the masteries are for the skimmer. I'm excited to unlock the skimmer. I'm excited to do the full, I believe you get the griffin from achievements, so I'm excited to do that and eventually work on my sky scale. I have a lot that I need to do, so hopefully you guys found this informative, and I will keep following up on all of the things that I've talked about already from my impressions as I go through the game. You can look forward to seeing a video on Festival of the Four Winds. You can look forward to seeing a video on the Halloween event. I don't know anything about it except the something about the Mad King, something about the Mad King's clock tower. But Halloween is my favorite holiday, so I'm really excited. I will be doing impressions of masteries, fractals, the other raid wings, explorable dungeons. There's so much to this game, so thank you guys so much for everything. If you like the content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I also have an applause button, which means that if you'd like, you could tip me $1 using that button. It's just like giving bits or donating on Twitch. So it really helps me out, and it's in beta, and I can't believe that I was one of the accounts to get it. So I would really appreciate that, as well as make sure to check the links down below. If you haven't tried Guild Wars 2, you can for free, and I will include a link that supports me for being an ArenaNet partner if you use that. The whole base game is free and there's no subscription. But if you did decide that you wanted to buy the expansions, because it's essentially pay to play, all of the expansions, so Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire, and the pre-order for End of Dragons is in a bundle for $50 right now. So I'll have another link there if you want to use that. And if you just want to pre-order End of Dragons, I would really appreciate my link too. So I will see you guys at the next one.